G'day, how are you? Diesel here from Getting Around in Oz, camper, trailer travelling, and thanks for joining us for another build video. So just before we get into today's video, I'll just catch up on what's happened so far. So now that that's out, and then in episode 2, we put in the subfloor here and we fixed the fridge slide in here. Essentially what we're going to be doing is cutting out all the boards, all the carpentry and all the bits and pieces. I've got the shelf measurements. Unfortunately, I made a mistake and made the stuff up, and so yeah, a lot of work done so far and still a bit to do. Obviously, I still haven't got this thing in here, but today's video is going to be about the construction of all the cabinetry stuff I've got. So if you see at this point, you know, I've done all the planning and preparation. I've got everything ready to go, but today I'm going to show you how I put this together. I actually had a few struggles trying to get some things together. Some measurements were a little bit off, but I managed to work it out. Quite the end of the day, I hope you're enjoying this. The feedback's been pretty good so far, and if you've got any questions at all, chuck them in the comments. And you know, I guess ultimately, I just really hope you're getting something out of it. But if you haven't done already, like the video if you can, drop us a comment and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the build. There's still a bit to go yet, and there's still quite a few videos coming. And why don't you grab yourself a coldie like I am here, make yourself comfy, we'll get into this one. Alright, the day is finally come and ready to go, and we're ready to start installing things in this Ranger. It's been a long time coming, to be honest with you. Preparing this was a lot more work than I thought it would be. Just a heads up for you, if you're going to do the same thing, if you do it probably to the level that I've done, or if you're doing it first time, give yourself a bit more time than you need, because it took me a lot longer than I thought it would do, that's for sure. That's all behind me now. This is the exciting part. What I might do in a moment is I'll actually show you. So last night I actually had a go at fixing this shelf on here. Sorry, I've actually put some brackets on the other one here. The brackets that I've used for these ones here. I'll chuck them on the screen there for you. Got those from Bunnings. Weren't that expensive either, but at this point look to be quite strong. And what I'm going to do now, before I get in the car, is I'm just going to try and connect up the main part of this one here, just to line up some brackets. And then once I've got that done here, I'm actually going to get up to the back of the car here and kind of start fixing some things in here. Some other preparations that I have done as well is preparing the water pump. This one here is just, I was actually just playing around with this one before. These are connections that were supplied from Pack Off-Road. This water pump essentially, I guess something to remember if you weren't aware, because I wasn't at the start, there is a little arrow on here which tells you which way the water's going to come in and go out of this thing. This pump itself came with this cabling separate. This just had a positive and negative wire coming off here. So all I've done is I've connected these ones up here. I then shrink wrap each one individually, and then I shrink wrap the whole thing. Shrink wrap, I think old mate means heat shrink. I actually put a bit more shrink wrapping the whole way down here, because the cables that were separate, I wanted to keep them together and nice and neat, which has allowed me to cable tie all this like this, because this one here is obviously going to go on a board either that way or that way. That was kind of the way I thought I'd have it. And cables are all going to be nice and flush. That's all ready now to go into the control hub. Some piece, I've got the hose. That hose effectively is going to be running down the side of this board here. The other bit that I've done is with the compressor, I have popped the switch out. That was nice and easy. You can see on the screen there, it's just those two little connections there. All I've done is grab the male connections, popped them in there, shrink wrapped individually, and then shrink wrapped the whole thing together. So that's ready to go now. I did put a bit more shrink wrap on there because I didn't want the cable to be rubbing on that one and cut itself over time. This one here is the old King's Thumper Max. Had this for about 4 or 5 years, something like that. It's done us well so far. That's why I'm very happy to just cut and do what I need to do to this compressor. There's no warranty for me at this point. This cabling here is probably heavier than I needed. When I talked to my Sparky, he said there's very little power coming to this switch here, so it won't need much, but I felt comfortable knowing that it matched what was coming out of there in the first place. The hose, I had to cut the end off here because it was too well fixed there for me to pluck it out, so I've just cut it off, and that way I can just connect that one onto the fitting as I need to. The connection for the compressor here, again, because it was out of warranty, I fixed an Anderson plug because it suited my previous setup and pissed off the alligator clamps. With a lithium battery, you have the capacity, to run these a bit more than you would do with an old AGM, for example. So having to get this out and connect it up to car battery time after time was a pain in the bum. So using the Anderson there was nice and easy. It worked fine. It obviously didn't cause any damage to anything. That is probably not going to go into the hub like that. I'm going to run it through via a meter fuse and the shunt in the control hub itself. So that's going to change. But now I had a bit of a hiccup. You might have seen it before, and sorry I didn't actually record everything I did there, because when things don't go together or don't turn out the way they should, you just end up going into trying to work it out and you kind of forget the camera's there. But what happened was, and I'll talk you through it, this top bit here didn't come across all the way over there, and there's a bit of a gap. And in hindsight, I now realise that I remember at the time trying to make sure I took into account the carpet. I've got it wrong somehow. So what I've done is, off this side here, I just peeled and cut the edge of the carpet off there, which really doesn't need to be there anyway, to be completely honest with you, because it's just going to be on the inside of this one here. But between the carpet on there and the carpet on here, it was probably just enough. So we'll see if taking that one off there is enough. If that doesn't work and I'm still not flush, because if I'm not flush, I'm not going to settle for it. I might just have to get the sander out and start working away at this one. It's really the only way to do it. It's not the end of the world. It's just more bloody work, to be honest with you. But how's it look there? Well, it feels pretty good actually. All right, so now that I've got that's ready to go. I'm just gonna prep these brackets here. So I'm gonna have, same as I've done on this side here, gonna go 1, 2, 3 along there. I initially was thinking about putting a couple of screws in the top there. Not sure at this point. We'll see how that comes up later. I feel like I'll probably just go with these 3 brackets here, considering it's gonna be fixing the top onto the side there, and I reckon they might do it. I feel like it probably look a little bit neater not having more screws on the top there and going with these. But again, I didn't even know if this is going to be strong enough. I'm really just going off feedback from other people. But what I got there, I'll prep that up, so that way when I get in the car, it's literally just going to be popping that one down, getting in there and popping the screws in there. Rightio, bloody done. Those remaining screws will be nice and easy. Make sure I got in the right height there. Nice and flush, all ready to go. So little hurdle overcome. Actually quite happy that that's less stuff around I need to do on the inside here. Time to get these in the car now, and let's see how he looks. There we go, I've done it. Now, I've got enough room on the other side to go in a bit, but I can actually just pull it out a bit, which is nice. I've got a bit of give there, and got about a finger width each side of the fridge side now, and very relieved to get that part done and now I can get into fitting the rest of it. I just got to work out now exactly where I'm going to put the water pump, then I can start connecting up the hose and we can keep going. All right, we're back on. There's the afternoon gone, but here's what it is. So I took the chance to do something that I was probably going to do later anyway, was put in these little edges here on the shelf to make sure things don't fall off the shelf. I took about 20 mil off these ones here and about 15 off the end there, even though I had enough clearance. Unfortunately, this bit here is just getting caught on the side bit there, so I'm just going to chop that off in a 45 and looks like we should be right. That's all good now. Now I just need to trim this one here, which is going to be the back of the fridge there and the battery box, and we're getting close to putting this in together. Very exciting. Trimmed him off there. I've actually trimmed off about that much. Let's see how it went. It's either going to be hit or miss, but worst case scenario, I think it'd be pretty close. Bloody tight in here. Moment of truth. Alright, I reckon we might call stumps in this video so far. Hope you got something out of that, and it was a little bit of a challenge, but we ended up getting it worked out. And the next video is going to be me putting together all the 12-volt gear, all the electrical gear from start to finish essentially. And I've literally just finished putting it all together. There was quite a few challenges, but I'm going to talk you through everything that I've done, why I've done things, the advice that I've got, and some things that I've been told to do and all that sort of stuff, which I think will be really interesting for you. Again, this is completely DIY stuff here. I'm doing the whole thing myself from start to finish, and I have been lucky enough to get some great advice and some great assistance and direction with what I'm going to show you. So thank you for support so far. I know it's actually been I'm really happy this build series has been well received, and you're getting something out of it, and it's quite of it's a dream setup that I'm putting together here, and it's definitely something I'm enjoying bringing to you. So again, if you haven't already, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, and I'll definitely get back to those ones, and hit the like video. That really helps us out. And if you like what's going on, subscribe to the channel. But until then, I'm Diesel for Getting Around Isles. Keep a trailer traveling. We'll catch the next one. Hooroo. The 12-volt stuff was being probably one of the biggest challenges through, I guess, just taking you through the whole process of what I've together, so to speak. And I reckon sort of the next one's going to be